Hi all, welcome to the webinar. My name is Becky. I work for a Salesforce Silver partner in Newcastle, which is called Ion. We specialise in platform services, so that's Salesforce and financial transformation. So thanks very much for joining. Our previous webinars are available on our YouTube channel. We've covered a few reports and dashboards so far, but today we are looking at the world of list views. We'll look at how these are used, how the user profile can affect view, how we can create views for accounts that have had no activity, and finally I'll give a quick demo of how we could use list views on a custom field for key accounts. So let's get cracking. So we'll just start with what a list view actually is then. So a lot of objects use list views. You'll see them just whenever you click in to the object. It essentially helps us to drill down on our data using a filter. So just a few points to note. You might not have permission to create a list view in your organization. So if you don't, just ask your Salesforce admin for help. If they don't want to give you the permission to create the list view, they'll probably be able to create the view for you. And Salesforce defaults to the recently viewed list view usually, so that you can see it there. So just make sure you change that list view. I'd always recommend pinning the one that you use the most. So you just click there to pin. A common user error when someone first gets onto the system is not being able to see anything, because you'll just be sat in recently viewed, but you've never logged on before, so you won't have viewed anything. So that's why it's just empty. So we'll just take a look at accounts first. Accounts doesn't seem to want to load. Oh, there we go. So we'll just click the cog and select new, and we'll create one that's called My Accounts in California. This will make sense in a little bit. So I've just set that to a private list view. I'll come back to that later. But as you can see, this filters pane pops up here. So I'm only really bothered about my account, so I can leave that filter as it is, and I'll add a filter that sets my billing state to California. So I'll just take this opportunity to highlight that this demo is using test data from a Trailhead org that you can set up in your Trailhead account. That is why it's all American states. So I could add another filter here. Maybe I want the annual revenue to be greater than $1 million. So we'll go annual revenue value. I will greater or equal 1. I'll just save that. Okay, so I've got 3 that are showing up. And that's great, but I can't actually see what the annual revenue is. So I'm just going to select the fields to display, find my annual revenue. I'll just move that up to sit in between account name and account site. And that now shows up on my list view. So I'm just going to add another filter now. I'll just show you filter logic. So we want to see California, and we'll go with Arizona. So that's AZ. So if we save this now, it's going to just wipe everything out because no one's going to exist in both California and Arizona. So that's where we add our filter logic. So at the minute, it's trying to match all 3 conditions, but it's not possible. So we want California, which is 1, or Arizona, which is 3. So 1 or 3 and 2. So we still want to say greater than $1 million. So just save that, and there you go. That's those 4 there. And I'm just going to change the name then to reflect the edits that we've made. So that'll be My Accounts in CI AZ greater than 1 million. So there we go. And then that list view will be available just as an option in the list views here, or we could pin it. So we'll just take a look now at contacts. So it might be useful for us to see which contacts we don't have information for. So I'll create a new list view. Contacts without phone or email. And save. So I'll add a filter. So phone equals blank. Email equals blank, and then we'll add some filter logic. So either or is fine. So this will show us people that don't have a phone or email, not phone and email. So there you can see Bertha, Jack, and Siddhartha. And I might need to do a little bit of work to get all the details for them then. So I'll do an opportunities one now. So we can take a look at opportunities that have been marked as closed, lost. So just as before, new list view. Oh, it's closed, lost. So we'll just add a filter and go stage. Obviously the stages are just available as a drop down now. Close, lost. And it's as easy as that then. So we can also easily mass edit records in our list view. So if we click this pencil here and hover over the field, you'll see it gives us the option to edit. So maybe I want to change this. I want to move that back, or want to change a few close dates. I've got a few updates on loads of accounts. And then if you hover over it and there's a lock, that just means that you can't change it. So it might mean that you have to go into the record to change it, or you might not have the permissions to make that edit. And what I'll actually do as well is I'll just show you. So there are ready-made list views as well. So the opportunity pipeline is one that just comes pre-made for you. But you can do quite quickly just add a chart then. That would give you a bit more of a visual on the stages that everyone's at in the process. You can change that if you like. Pipeline by account. It's going to give us a lot of options. And just go back to stage, and then your chart details. You can change it to a vertical, horizontal. Quite easy. So quickly as well, the view then can be affected for each user. So you can, if you go into your sharing settings, you can share your list with a group of users, and that will give you the option of doing it by role. So you'll have more options once you select these: public groups or roles and subordinates. Granting someone access to a list view doesn't mean that all the information will automatically become available to them. What they can see will be determined by their permissions usually, so just bear that in mind as well. So I'll just show you one that's quite useful. This is 30, 60 or 90 days of no activity. So we want to see accounts that maybe haven't had activity in those times. In your org, you will be looking for a field called inactive days. So inactive days, it keeps a running total of how many days since the last contact. So that would be like the last time a call was logged. If you have Einstein activity capture set up and turned on, it'll factor in the last time they were emailed. It's really handy. Unfortunately, because we are in a trial org, the inactive days field doesn't exist for us here. Just not all functionality tends to be available in trial orgs. So I'll just go new list view. I'll just call this 30 days. New activity. Yep. So you would just add your filter here as usual, and you would be looking for the field called inactive days. So we've got industry here. So here's a screenshot of what it would look like. So you would just fill in inactive days, greater than or equal to, and for this one we're doing 30 days, so the value is 30. So I'll just do a random one here. I'll use account source is web. Right, so that's grand, you've got one. So you would have your, well, actually you would need to add in your select fields to display. So then you would go in and find your inactive days, move that over here, and then you should just have a list down here of how many days. So you might want to do then a longer period. So you would just obviously go here into your list controls view. You can clone it then. So we would change this to 60 days of no activity. Save. And then in here, you would just be changing this filter to say the value 60 or 90 or whatever it is you would like to use for that. So sorry that I couldn't show you that one in real time, but it is a handy list view to have, so I'd rather explain it than not. And lastly, I'll just move on to our key accounts solution. So I created a custom field for my key accounts. I'll show you what that looks like on a record. So if you just go into the details section, I've got a little tick box here for key account. So if I want to tick that, I can just tick and save. So that's how I know it's a key account. So I'll just go back out into accounts. I'll see how I pinned that one earlier. So that's the account it'll default to. So I want to look at my accounts. So we'll just edit our list filters. Sorry, we'll select fields to display first and move this key account one into it. Because if I create a list view now, there won't be very many in it. We've only got 2. So we'll just quickly use that edit tool. And save. Okay. And right, so new list view, key accounts, share it with a group of users this time, share it with the channel sales team. Oh, must have forgotten to delete that. Okay, and then the filter that we're going to add is key account, value, true, done, save. And there we go. So we've gone through a fair few list views today. I hope you find it useful. As always, feedback or requests for what you'd like to see on the next webinar is welcome. So if there's a function on Salesforce that you'd like to see in action, it doesn't have to be a report, just let me know. So obviously we've done list views today. There will be a recording of this available on a brand new YouTube channel, and we've started putting them on our website as well, so they're all available in one easy place. So thank you very much for joining and stay safe. Cheers, thanks, bye-bye.